Hello, everybody. We're getting a little countdown over here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
And I'm Patty. We're Kari.
We're Patty.
I just told her,
you guys,
you're gonna be Kari.
You're gonna be Kari this week. We practice this every week, and for some reason, the thing that we have the hardest time, we can talk for an hour, but we can't say our names. You know, I actually got kicked, not kicked out, but I got out in a spelling bee when I was younger because I spelled my name wrong.
Oh gosh.
Because you were like, I was practicing it because I knew I'm like capital K, because you have to say that capital or it doesn't count.
Oh,
so in my head I was like capital K-A-R-I, and the last thing I said in my head was capital K, and so I got up, I was like A-R-I. So I might have slightly been bullied about that afterwards, but I'm also obviously still not over it.
Yeah. So, we are happy to be here. I have been busy painting all day long, all morning long, just kind of behind in my week, but getting things ready to show you guys how to manage busy stencils. So this is going to be all about that, how to make sense of it, how to make focal points, how to manage contrast, things like that. So we've got some really neat lessons today.
Yeah, and we have this all was brought about because we have a whole new collection.
This is really cool.
Of busy stencils. We're calling them our rules stencils, and we have farm ones, we have family ones, we have hot tub ones. I think we have 20 different designs, and as you can see, like, they're very busy. They have a lot of things on them. They have a lot of words, some embellishments.
This is the one I used today, so it's dirty.
But we have this new collection. I'll share the link. They are all on sale at an introductory price at 35% off. And we're going to
Does
talk.
that end today?
Yes, it's just today.
Right,
Today is Tuesday, 8/23/2022.
She was on 2020 again.
Just a little
like
bit
a little
ago,
while ago.
just a few minutes ago. But
what's so easy to say because we said
is.
2020 so many times in
and
2020.
it just kind of rolls
Yeah,
off.
yeah. So.
But these stencils are super cool because they are so busy. The one that Patty's going to paint has, I don't know, what, 20 sayings on it?
Oh God, yeah.
Like, that's 20 different stencils on one. And so then you
About 20.
you can pull that out and put them anywhere, and it's just, it's a really
you can
cool
use the forgive word on a card. You can say I love you on a card. You can be like lots of hugs and kisses on a card. Wrapping paper. You know, there's so many things you can do. We're going to show you something really cool a little bit later about some weird things you can paint on.
We love weird.
I know. I love unusual surfaces.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
think
we get
that's kind
tired
of
of
fun.
painting on wood sometimes. I don't want to paint on wood this week.
Yeah, I know.
Speaking of painting, we are a stencil company. We do
Yes.
painting and DIY and craft and stencil tutorials every week.
Yeah.
Tuesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern, and then normally on Saturdays we release videos on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, so this lives are for us to share with you and answer questions, really. It's more about showing a technique and then answering questions about it so that it's interactive.
Yeah.
But then the Saturday is a just straight out, hey, here's how you do this thing video. So if you like that kind of content, you can go there on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then if you subscribe and you ring the bell, then you'll get notified when we have new content. And that is kind of a cool thing because, I don't know, then you know, it's just nice to get a reminder when your favorite thing to do is live. And then do visit our website, StudioR12, the letter R, 12.com, and we have more than 6,000 titles of stencils on our website. So we are a very busy stencil company.
Yes, very busy.
Yeah.
We had someone asking about Christmas stencils today because it is time to start thinking about Christmas if you haven't already.
Yeah.
And we've actually released our Christmas stencil collection. We have already got it all released. It's all put to bed and ready for you guys. There are 70 stencils, 70 designs.
70 brand new designs.
Brand new.
Yeah.
2022 Christmas stencils. So
yeah, and I think that, so what we try to do is we try to get everything done and ready and listed on the websites by July for Christmas, because then if you're going to paint for family and friends, and we were talking about this, I think this is a really good like public service statement. We were talking about gifts coming in this year. It's no stranger that the world is a crazy place right now, and so if you're trying to like maybe keep your shekels piled up in your shekel bank, maybe it's a good idea to think about what kind of gifts you can make yourself. And one of the things, our stencils are reusable, you can wash them, they're durable, they're all the things. If you got, so I have 5 sons, I have 5 daughter-in-laws, they all have homes, I have grandkids that are now making homes and all that kind of stuff. What's neat about that is I can buy one Rawlinson personalized stencil, and then I can make it in the colors for Cindy and Lisa and Lena, and I can do one thing and reuse it, and then I can send that over to, you know, my sister-in-law, and, you know, or whatever. I can take it and share it with the next family member, and then they can make the things for their people. So it's kind of a neat little idea to just like think about what you can buy that you can use again and again. And I think that actually these rules stencils are amazing because they apply to everybody that has, in this case, these are house rules and this is family rules, and they would apply to anybody with a family. So I think that's a cool thing.
Agreed. Let's talk about our YouTube channel a little bit more. Last week on our YouTube channel, we released our Jolly Porch Ugly Christmas sweater video, which was a really great lesson on painting backgrounds with patterns and putting patterns on patterns. And we did have someone comment that they really liked on this one that you filled in the bridging.
Yeah.
To show how to do that. So there's a lot of stuff in this tutorial.
And the bridging on really big letters can be really awkward looking. Little letters not so much, but you can barely see this background, and it's just a sweater pattern, and we're calling it ugly sweater. And then there's a sweater band up there, but super usable stencil. Our band stencils, if you get a chance, check them out because we have the stuff.
Yeah, we do.
I almost swore, but I decided not to.
We're going to hold off on that for right now, at least. We do have a special release for you guys on Wednesday, which is tomorrow.
Yes, it is.
The pumpkin, 4-foot pumpkin glowing leaner that we did. We originally released this in a 3-part series that was how to prep your board, how to paint your board, and how to get your board ready for the outside weather and elements. So we have put this all into one video, and it gives you a really easy place to find it, and it's just going to put all 3 videos together from start to finish, and we'll release that tomorrow night.
Yeah, and then this is the one we did last week for live, right? So guys, if you haven't checked that out, last week we released how to staple into your wood, including MDF. So we did the little staples, we did the 4 ways, I think, to hang your signs. So really valuable information. Go check out those lives. Switch through the yammer yammer at the beginning and then get to the meat of the lesson.
It's time stamp.
There you go.
And then this coming Saturday, I don't have a thing to show you because we have a really good technique lesson for you. Patty's going to show you sanding between your varnish layers, and
I have to tell you,
yeah,
you guys. This is our Anyway tray, and one of the things that I have done. So Anyway means that you can turn it any way, flip your board over, and now you've got a Santa, Dear Santa tray that's chalkboard, and flip that there. But this side of this board is so smooth. It's buttercreamy, amazing. So you want to learn how to sand between your varnish layers because that is going to be so, it just makes such a difference. And I've got a couple of lessons coming up that if you do the good sanding, then it makes the application easier.
Yeah. I think that's all I have. I shared a bunch of links with you guys. The Rule Stencil link has been shared. The Christmas collection stencil's been shared.
Okay. Let's
so
get going.
We're ready to go.
Okay, we got a couple of things that we're going to talk about today. Number one, I want to show you a comparison. This is the project we're going to work on today. And what we're going to do, Dustin, I'm going to go ahead and get in here. So I have already done a gray color, which we're going to share our colors. If you haven't seen the label color chip thing, we share our brands of paint in 2 brands, Delta, oh my God, that's like the Wayback Machine, Deco Art and Sherwin-Williams House Paints. okay, in these little sample quart kind of things, okay? So we've got the little bottles from the craft store, and then we've got the Sherwin-Williams. If you are a bulk craft painter, and then we take those Sherwin-Williams, put them in our honey jars. Anyway, we just said we would start sharing the paint numbers. So you need the chips to get what the paint number is, or I'm not gonna share conversion names and numbers and all that. So I used for this a blend of number 36 and number 23 on those chips. Okay, so this, in my mind, made it look like a little bit like chalk. We've done it on a black background, okay? And so it's just got kind of a gray looking, not very base coated kind of thing. And something that I discovered today is I was wanting, oh hey, got all my little dusty grommets from my swirling. Something that I discovered today was how to make a rich black color. I didn't want any sanding. I didn't want any distressing. I didn't want any of that. But watch this. I don't know if you'll be able to catch it on camera. It's noticeable in person. Okay, so if I lay this down, this is just our black paint. So that's number 28. And number 28 is fine. Like, it makes things black. That's good. Okay, so I'm going to get that there. I don't know if you can tell the difference between right here and right there and the richness of this black. That is what I'm going to show next week in our live. So you want to come back for that on Tuesday at noon, and make sure you subscribe and get the bell thing so that you get notified when we are live. Anyway, I'm going to show you how to create a rich black, and there's a couple of really simple things and one product that you'll need, and it's not an expensive product. So, but that will be next week. So that was my surprise. I didn't realize that was going to be so cool. But when you are looking at busy stencils, that's what the lesson of the day is, right? This is super busy, has a lot of things to say. We want to have some things stand out, and we want to have some things fade back. Okay, so I just did one coat of the chalky look. I'm going to brush all that off. Your paint will leave little kind of goobers on there, and so I've got this beautiful smooth finish because I wanted it super modern looking, and those goobers were bugging me. Okay, so I'm going to line this stencil back up. This is what is great about stencils versus vinyl. If you have a Cricut, great. I've got a Cricut, a big Cricut, plotter, and a other plotter. You know, I've got a lot of that stuff as well. But when you use Mylar stencils, they're reusable, they're washable, and you can lay them back down. I do not like weeding anything. So that's not my favorite thing to do. So I love that I can lift this up, I can peek, take a look, and then I can lay it back down, line it up, and do the thing. And then I could share this stencil. I could sell this stencil. I could do all kinds of things. So I'm gonna get that line back up. And then I'm gonna wrap my tape around.
Lining these stencils up is probably gonna be one of my least favorite things of all time with all the work.
It actually shows easy. It actually shows really, really well. One thing too that you're gonna wanna know about is you don't want to use a really heavily loaded brush. And as you paint, because you're coming way down, this is like 2 feet of words, as you come down the stencil and you reload, you're gonna have more and more paint in your brush. The more paint you get in your brush, then the more you're going to bleed under. And I actually, on this project, which I'll show you in a minute, I did bleed under, and I'll show you how I fixed that.
It happened, guys.
It happened. Like, when I wanna do it on camera, I can't make it happen. And then when I don't, okay, I think I slid that when I taped it. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna show how to manage a little bit of the busyness. I'm gonna take my white paint.
27.
Number, thank you. It says paint color number with a smiley face under this camera, and I still ignore it. Okay, so we're gonna take our white paint, which is number 27, Steve. And thank you for reminding me. And we're gonna wipe it off on our paper towel, offload. The dome brushes are, I think they're in stock right now.
They are.
You would not believe the challenge that dome brushes have been for us. They're easily one of our most popular thing because everybody that stencils needs these brushes. If you are stenciling with a flat stencil brush, you are going to be sad and you're going to bleed under because they're cut flat. They kick the paint, they bend when they do the thing, and they go under your stencil. These are domed, and so when it hits here, it does not, and pushing hard, and it does not kick those outer bristles under your stencils. So that is why these work so well. You do need to use a dry brush, pick up dry paint, and offload at least 5 times. And I would say when you're doing one of these, I would go my 5 times, and then I would be like, am I good? And then I would go back over and do 2 more times, because it really does get away from you. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna pick on some of these areas to be like the most important areas. I think house rules, it's the title of the thing. Let's make that be important. And I need a masker. This is a multi-masker. He is a dirty multi-masker. He's been used, he's well used. These have these natural curves. It has a straight line. I don't want to get into this area, so I'm going to go with my multi-masker and mask right there. I'm gonna stipple. When you stipple today, because I didn't get my homework done until this morning, I was painting 3 of these signs since 8 o'clock this morning. So, which, I mean, it's really fast, but I had to get the backgrounds done too and everything. So then I was doing all of the stenciling at the same time.
Well, and somebody said, I'm just gonna paint a basic white background with black letters and wait, I showed you guys on our Facebook page,
Yeah,
the background she painted.
Yeah.
We're not basic.
I'm extra. No, and so I love backgrounds that have movement. In this case, I wanted a rich background, so I went science experimenty and invented a new thing that I've never heard of before. And so, oops. I told her, next time I say I'm gonna do a simple background, just say I don't trust you. Okay, so we're gonna stipple. When you stipple, if you push really hard, these longer pieces are gonna wiggle and you're gonna get a crappy line. Okay, so you wanna not do that. You wanna keep your stippling firm, but not hard. You wanna just keep a good even pressure. Okay, and then you notice it's super easy to hold this masker in place. It's gonna keep my brush out of these other areas. And then if I'm feeling like this looks a little polka dotty, I'm gonna swirl over the top of it after my paint's offloaded. Don't be swirling with a fully loaded paintbrush. Okay, so now I'll reload. Notice how little paint is actually on my brush. And then I offload again. Okay, every time, and you notice that I have paint on my arms everywhere. I bathed in paint this morning. That makes me just an artist. We're gonna go with that. Anyway, so you always offload on the paper towel. Always, 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 always. And then one thing that we talk about here, and I'm gonna do it as I get to the end of this, but become a peeker. The peeker in you is going to be somebody that says, I wonder if that's the right color. Let me lift the tape, let me curl the corner back, take a look, and see if I've got enough. Look at how close this filigree is to this E. So that's a crowded stencil, but it makes it really cool. It looks very artistic and very chalky and that kind of thing, but I don't want that to, I want that to settle back in the background. So that's what this masker does. And the masker, since we invented it, because it is our actual invention, has become one of our absolute best sellers.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody needs a masker.
Or several.
Or I used 2 today. I used 2 on either side of a busy intersection, and
I think we had video of you using 4 of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so too. I think we had them all taped together. But when you're on a stencil like this and you're painting something down in the middle, and there's lines above and lines below, and maybe if you want to do the different colors, we have a lot of examples of this collection of stencils painted in different colors to give you some ideas. You'll definitely want the masker if you're going to paint those.
yeah, we have. If you guys are familiar with our little red truck, we went to market a couple years ago. Yeah, you can always tell when I'm starting to talk. That's the pause for my brain and my painting hand. When we went to market a few years ago, yeah, I can't see. Okay, we found that every showroom in all 3 skyscrapers in Atlanta had trucks in them. So we came back and we made a truck stencil, and that truck stencil has been painted at Boardroom in our small town thousands of times, and we don't even have thousands of people. No. And you know, so it's amazing. But when we introduced the masker, because we used to have to tape off every little wheel hub and every little everything, right? And so the headlights have like silver trim, you know, blah blah blah. But our teachers cried when we gave these to them because they were like, no more taping, 800 square feet of tape. Okay, so let's be a peeker. Let's take a look at this and talk about what we learned from this. Now, if you look at this, and if you're looking at it on Facebook, go ahead and squint your eyes, YouTube as well. Squint your eyes, and then the one thing you're gonna see is this house rules, okay? That's the thing you're going to see. This took a back seat. Everything else on this whole board took a back seat. So I love that because that is how you can control contrast, okay? So contrast is one of those painting rules. If you use colors, we talked about color management and stuff like that. If you use red and green, then your opposites, that's gonna be how you can control some like vibrancy. But this contrast is how you can control like importance of design. So now we want to go down here and we want to say, okay, what do we want to focus on next? I think, okay, so I think smile often and maybe say thank you and maybe say I love you. What do you think?
I like this.
Okay, and then we'll do those and then we'll come back through, and I've got one more little hint that we're going to show you as well. So we'll lay that down. Notice I have 2 pieces of tape down here, 2 up here. That is so it makes it easier to stay lined up. Okay. So I love that you can make focal points out of things that mean something to you. So if you're doing this and maybe you've got like hugs and kisses as your jam, you know, then you can totally focus on this area. So you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, and you don't even have to do the whole thing. Yeah. Or up there where it says love each other and say I'm sorry, maybe you'll do love or sorry or just one of them. You don't have to do the whole thing.
Agreed completely.
And I shared on Facebook and YouTube a link to one of the videos I did on 5 tools for stenciling small spaces, and we painted a flower stencil that was very intricate, and it is going to also be very helpful with this type of stencil because we're using our multi-masker, our click eraser, our tape, our small brushes, so that's going to be
let
really
me try
beneficial.
to get some bleed under right here.
Yes,
I'm going
we
to
did
laugh
have
at myself. Okay, so I'm going to do heavy over here, and then I want to show you that this is so close. If I put this is about, you know, almost an inch. If I did that and swirled or even stippled, I'd be hitting the top of the hugs and kisses. I don't want to do that. That's what the multi-masker's for. Okay, so I'll go here, stipple, stipple. Now let's load our brush and let's wipe it one time. Okay, and then I'm going to go in. Oh, I did it. Oh, I did it. I know. Ah! Hairball. Okay, so now I'll peel this off and I'm going to show you what I did. And actually, let me show you what it looks like. Dustin, can you get in that close right down there?
Zoom on in.
Like zoomy, zoomy. You can see there's a big ridge area right there and right there. So super ridgy here, super ridgy here, super ridgy here. So that just, because I kind of swiped with the shape of my brush, that's what made that happen. If I was stippling up and down, it might not have happened. So let's take this away. And it didn't bleed, but look what it did do. It kind of, it just kind of chunked up on the edge. Okay, so you can do a couple of things. So this is a click eraser. We have these on our website. That's StudioR12.com. And they're satisfying just to make noise with. I'm just saying.
It is our adult fidget toy.
Yes, exactly right. With a good function.
Yeah.
Okay, so you wet it in water. So dry, these will not take your paint away. But wet, if your paint is within 5 minutes, it will take your paint away. Okay, so you can actually fix a bleed under. So like this Y is a good example. So I just go right there with my little bit of wet, and then I take, that's what you finger paint. Take those little edges away. And so I'm just kind of erasing the edge of it, and then I'm wiping away the little residue. So that is how you can erase your mistakes. Now, something that I was doing earlier, on this project, I probably wouldn't do it because I wanted this one to be super sleek and modern. So I did a simple thing, but I did it in a really rich, complicated way.
Basic.
What I did earlier on this project, which I will show you next, is I used my sander. And let me go back on here.
I do have a couple comments I want to read very quickly.
Yeah, please.
Our friend Joyce on Facebook says
Hi, Joyce.
she uses 2 maskers a lot, but she has found that using 3 is best for her. She really likes being able to use 3. And then for Dustin and Steve, our friend Carol said, great job with the camera.
Yay!
And Jarita said, your video and camera work are phenomenal.
Ta-da!
Phenomenal!
We try our best.
They try. Oh, mother.
Thanks, Jarita.
Okay, so let me do another one here with excess. Yeah, that's gonna need more. And then I'm gonna show the sanding thing. I'm gonna have to hit it with the blow dryer. So Kari, you talk for a second, or, ooh, I got a little bleedy bleed.
I think Steve's been muting us during the...
Oh.
You can't hear anything.
So I'll just dance.
Okay, so I just want to show that example of what you would do with your sander. Now I'm going to the one that's the 220 grit, and you can, it worked really good over here because this is distressed. So we're going to see if it'll work over here. But I just took the little edge of that sander. Yep, that did great. So Dustin, can you get right in here? Can you see that? Maybe overhead?
Yeah, I think we've got it.
Okay, so that K is kind of a mess right there. Just take a very little bit of the edge. Ah, look at that. Clean, clean, clean. So just another technique. I don't like the edge of this. Oh. Now, if I do too hard, what's going to happen is it's going to peel my background off, and I didn't want any of that on this background. I really wanted it clean.
I think that, and I what's your opinion on it? I would probably grab a small piece of sandpaper to do that.
This
you think
is
that would be
giving me
okay?
good control, but I think that
it makes me nervous where it's so big. I probably would have started with one of those tiny ones and folded it in crease.
You can fold it in little bits like that and get yourself a nice little edge, a little edgy poo.
A little edgy poo.
Gotta have edgy poos in your life, man. Okay, life is no good without edgy poos. Okay, so we're gonna go here. We're gonna line them back up again. And this is my most challenging thing that I do in a day.
I
Line a stencil back up.
Hard.
With sound effects. You're welcome. All right, so if we have any questions, this would be a really good time for them.
I don't have any. I do have someone, Deb said the only thing missing is a glass of wine. Don't you worry, Deb. There's nothing missing here. Someone did mention earlier about asking if we were always so chipper.
We are mostly.
We are. Patty especially is. Patty is
True. Annoying.
Patty is typically in a really good mood most of the time.
I watched the movie Pollyanna when I was probably in my 20s. I can't remember the actress's name. Now watch, I'm gonna switch this multi-masker over to the top because I don't want that line done. And I actually ghosted right there. I'll show you what to do about ghosting. That's not the kind of ghosting that's mean these days. It's different ghosting. Okay.
Haley Mills.
Yeah, Haley Mills.
What I knew
Did
it
she?
from well, I had to look it up, but I knew it from
She was the twins.
yes, that's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I
yeah.
knew her from. I was like,
Yeah,
I knew
totally.
her.
Yeah, it was such a good movie, and she just basically would use that opportunity to find something to be happy about in anything. And I took that to heart, and my name is Patty, and Patty Pollyanna just kind of sticks in my head. So, yeah,
Or
there you
as
go.
my stepdaughter Aria calls her, Chatty Patty.
I definitely chat. Okay, so let's talk about this ghosting, and you're gonna have a really hard time seeing it. Right up here in this line, I wasn't paying attention because I was chatting,
Nope.
and so I got a little bit of paint up there, and I don't want it there, so use our click eraser, and then because I had done this paint earlier, it's not going to lift the earlier paint, and if it does, I can reposition that stencil. It is taking the earlier paint. Look at that! I did this paint an hour ago, and I can remove paint where I don't want it with the click eraser and a little bit of water an hour later. Like, that's amazing,
That
you
is.
guys. This is control. When you can go remove something without like a chemical solvent or something like that that will take your background away and all that kind of stuff. I love that. So that's how you can do that. And then because it's a stencil and it's Mylar and it's reusable over and over and over for like a million times, you can reposition it.
Speaking of over and over,
Yes.
Deb asked, do you recommend something sticky, attack it over and over, or even stick and restick on the busy stencils?
You know, I don't, because 4 pieces of tape is doing the job, and I haven't found that it was. Now, when I was being a little bit more aggressive with the pouncing, in the skinny, I don't remember which one, I've done a lot of these today, a lot of skinny, tall lines. I noticed my lines were doing a little bit of wiggling, and then I just backed off of the stippling. So that's what you would do. Okay.
So it may be more beneficial on the flourishes rather than the words itself.
Yeah. You're gonna see as soon as you have a struggle, stop what you're doing, grab. Is it in?
I think there's a.
We've got 2 that we like, and this one's so squished you can tell we've used it about up. Foiling glue, and they're both Elaine's, Aleenes, and stick and restick, and they behave pretty much the same. I'm very curious about whether or not they're the same product, but
Very well possible.
frequently we can't get one or the other.
Yeah.
And so we just carry them both. So they're on our website, StudioR12.com, and that you can find them there. Okay, and then we also will link when we have them into an Amazon affiliate link if we don't have some other things. So
Yeah, we have a whole blog post with all of our Amazon links that you guys can shop from.
all right, so let's go. We're gonna go say I love you down here. Oh yeah. I was like, I'm gonna run into everything.
Robin said that she would love to come hang out with you all for a
Yes.
day or forever.
Yes, Robin, we want you to.
Forever.
I love painter friends. I really, they're the best in the universe. I have been blessed by a million painter friends and buddies for 35 years. Like, it's been a really amazing, great ride.
Do you think that I could give them just a little hint of what we got today? That
Yes.
We,
Yeah.
Can I say what it is?
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, we have new brushes. We got, we ordered.
Party time!
We ordered.
That's how you keep me happy.
I know.
You just be like, yeah, brushes!
We, Patty used one of the brushes in one of our previous videos.
Shall I show?
It's up to you.
You want to see? You guys tell me.
We used it, and so we decided we wanted to keep it. And so we ordered several different sizes. I think we ordered like
14 sizes.
14 sizes.
It was a lot.
And I think we have it narrowed down to 6 sizes, ranging from teeny to ginormous.
Yeah.
So we are in the process of getting them photographed and listed, and
They're very cool.
we're excited to,
Are
to
they
share with you how to use
saying
them.
they want to see what it is?
Yes, please. Yay. New brushes make us happy. Yes, show us.
Okay.
Hands up. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, should we do it? Okay, so we use this in the cowhide video. Where we painted the brown with the sunflowers. If you look on YouTube, you'll find it there. And you look on the website, you probably get a link or something. But this is a super taut, tight little flat brush that does a really good smear technique where you can drag your paint into your project. You could also use it to do some shading and some of that kind of stuff. The really big one was the one that I used, and I fell in love with it in that video, and I was like, order every one of them, but then they went up in micro units.
Yeah.
14.
Some you couldn't even tell the difference.
You could, yeah, it was like, you're lying. It is not.
It is
not a different size.
They ranged in size, guys, from 2 to 44.
2 to 44, yeah.
But be patient with us.
They're not up yet.
We literally just got them at like 10 o'clock this morning. So they
Kari
will be
brought them
there
in.
soon.
She's like, so.
So which one of these?
Like, are we really going to bring in 14 sizes of this one brush? No, because that's just too many. And they really weren't that thing. But oh, you guys, a good brush.
Yeah.
The difference between this kind of brush and this kind of brush, notice that this like flops. This is a well-used, well-loved. Isn't that what they call like the Velveteen Rabbit? He's well-loved, you know? So you got this like line of junk in there and everything. But so he's well-loved, so he would have some more body. And it's floppy. This guy is like really hard to flop. So I love that. And he's, honestly, this has only been used maybe for that video.
Yeah.
Maybe the practice and then the video. And then this has been used and used and used. So it's about the same kind of thickness as this one, but just denser. So you're gonna love this brush.
Deb asked if that's the fugly brush.
I don't know.
Jarita asked.
He's kind of handsome.
I think I like the color of the
I like the
handle.
color, and I like the color of the bristles. So I'm going for I'm going for Pollyanna here.
Jarita asked, do you find you may get less bleeding if you use a larger brush or a brush closer to the size of your word?
I think, Jarita, you have a really good point. You could use, I tend to use the big brush, but you could spend time doing the skinnier brush. I like to cover more territory. I want to get over here to this project. I actually get in a hurry when I paint because I've got lots of things going on. Mine is my job, so I have to finish this to get to that and that kind of thing. It's not necessarily only hobby. So I do want to peel this off, and then I'm going to get over here, but I was in a hurry with the big brush, and then I found myself bleeding under on this project right here. So I'm going to peel this back, and now you can see with just the 3 areas, I would do more than 3. Oh, I wanted to show you one more thing. You didn't hear that. There's nothing to say here.
Nothing to say here. Nothing to say.
We do not swear on this channel. Never. Well, not never anymore. Okay. Darn diggity. How can you say golly bum without swearing? How do you guys say it? Okay, so we can go into another color, and you can be like, I want one thing to guys, always shake your paint. If you don't shake your paint, you will
Since you're pulling out color, after you do that, can we talk about these? We've had some questions about colors.
Yes.
Yeah, what number is that?
Number 49.
49.
Are
Are
we
you
playing
writing these
bingo?
down, Steve?
I'm not.
I am.
Oh.
That's what friends are for.
Okay, I'm gonna go into the Smile Often with number 49. And wipe off my brush, get the masker, and one of the things that you can do with these, and that leads us to what we're gonna show you over there, is pick a color to accent. And so notice I'm just kind of swirling this, so I'm gonna get the O first and then get over there to that F. And
Can you tell me, it's covered by tape, the skew of this one and the underscore of it, please?
Yes, it is 6424_2.
Thank you.
You guys, with our stencils, we are one of the only stencil companies that have a million sizes. We make them here in the United States. We have them in like, I don't know, 2 to 5 sizes of each title. And that is really unusual. A lot of stencil companies are manufactured in other countries because that's where it's cheapest. Like, we're not the cheapest, but you have the most choices. And honestly, if I was to order a stencil that said like "Love God First" or something like that, and it was 6x6 or 8x8, I wouldn't have any use for that because I tend to feel a little bit bigger about my signage. I want choices. So we have always done choices. So we have a lot of choices. If you times all of those 7,000 titles times 4 choices, you're gonna end up with a lot of stencils. Okay. So we're gonna take this all the way over. This Multimasker is brilliant. You could use a piece of paper if you wanted to. The problem is you don't have the choices of, you can do it for the straight edge part, but when you need these other bits and curves, paper is harder to deal with. So we did this just because, and it's super reusable. Like, you're gonna pay a couple bucks and then you're gonna have it forever. Okay, so let's see what color did for us. Take this off without swearing.
We have some fun swear words. I kudos these people because I just say
I knew they'd have good ones.
Turkey lips, G Willikers, oh cuss word.
Oh, cuss word! I want to use that one from now on.
I kind of just want to sing it. Oh cuss word. Gosh diddly dang.
That's so good.
Thunder mucker.
I'd screw that up, and I would
totally
swear. I would do it.
Oh my stars, dag nabbit. That's Nuck and Futz. I would totally mess up that one either.
I'd say that in church, and then I'd get like,
Gosh, OG. So we have a lot. I kudos you guys. Those are creative.
Okay, so now you can see when you add just a little bit of color, it's like a subtle thing. So you can see subtle color will make a subtle difference. Bright color contrast will make another difference. Let's switch over here to the colors.
So we had someone ask, if I didn't want to do all white on a busy stencil, how would you decide how many colors and what colors to use?
Okay, so we got 2 busy stencils right here, and this one is one of our absolute most popular. The girls we have mostly girls in our manufacturing. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, lasers and the girls like each other. But they are like almost complain about the stencil. Like we sell it so often. It's just the constant go. But okay, so what we did on both of these is we have, in this case, I chose a color story and it's red, white, and blue. Okay, so that's super easy. It's Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, and then I anchored the top and the bottom with the blue. Okay, so I think that's super important to understand that you gotta, I did that, I did the same thing on this white stencil, the whiteboard. This is one that I did today, and I anchored the top and the bottom with black. Okay, so doing something the same on both ends helps keep your eye in, it helps keep the art in. Not that the art's gonna fall out, but it's very, very helpful. So I did the same treatment here and here, and then we know allegiance, we know United States needs to be super important. I think United States is like, you know, what the whole subject is, and liberty and justice is as well. I have allegiance, the United States, liberty and justice. Red is gonna be your fire color, that's gonna be your flaming attention getter kind of thing. So you do your most important things that way, and then in order to balance my color out, I made the bands a dark red. So I sat it back, my contrast, I used the contrast, sat that back, and then the blue became the accent color and the white became accents as well. So, and sometimes you have to go back over them. You might do to the flag and decide, I really don't like that. So in the case of the white or the cream in this, that's gonna be one of your contrast colors. So it's acting almost like a red. you know, your red is your warmth and your fire, but the white is your cold and your contrast. So it's kind of complicated, but not really, but you can lay your stencil right back on top, and you can take that blue out of the flag and you can make it the cream color. So you don't always, you're not stuck with stencils. I love that about stencils. So let's move on to this guy. This guy. Okay, so we know we needed fire. So your fire, a really wise woman, Kathy Garrison, if you're watching us, she's my friend from a long time ago, and she used to help me write newsletters, and I used to send out, like, you know, mailers back in the day, and she would do the graphic design for me, and she'd sit there and she'd be like, what are we gonna do? And I'd be like, I don't know, you know, and I was just so emotional about it. It was so overwhelming. And she would just like pound the table and say, what do you know? And so the message is to start with one thing that you do know. Okay, so if you know, you gotta have fire. In this case, this is a fire pit stencil. You know you're gonna have fire. Then that immediately sets the tone. Okay, so you know you're gonna have orange, red, that kind of thing, yellow. And so now you build off of that to balance the thing. Okay, so you're welcoming, banner seems red, blah, blah, blah. So that's gonna be that. This is fire going up into your fire pit. Your toasted is on fire as well. So these things kind of told their own story. The red is just the accent, and then everything else just follows through. So starting someplace that you do know is super helpful. And then if that doesn't work, go to Pinterest.
Agreed.
Yeah. Pinterest is my best friend. I want to get to this one. I love this. Okay, so I want to show it off, and you guys have to give me like great big like yays, because I think it's just really, really, really cute. Okay, so we've got, okay, so Kari's got a link to this. If you guys remember who Paul Harvey is, he did, and on the 8th day, God made a farmer. Okay, so that is what this rules thing is. So super great to listen to. I listened to it again this morning. I grew up on it and stuff. But what I did here is I created this really rich, warm background, and then I did my words all in the same color, but I'm going to show you a secret. And then I do want to share that we did chicken wire on a roll. Okay, so it comes as ribbon. And then, but wait, there's more. Set that down. And then I didn't have any cow print ribbon. So I took, and where did the stencil go?
I think it was.
I feel like it's over here somewhere. Yeah. Okay. So I took our cow print stencil and I laid it over my cream colored ribbon, and we made a cow print accent piece. So that's super cool. Anyway, what I did with this one, let's get him out. I got everything stacked up. Hang on. It's taped to the table. Like literally.
It's not going anywhere. Carol said, look at you getting all fancy.
What? And all right, so on this stencil, it has, how to show you, back of the board, that's what we'll do. It has all of this edgy filigree stuff, okay, and I decided, I think on everything, that I didn't do the edgy filigree. Yeah, I didn't do any of that stuff today. It's a nice frame, it looks really good, but I didn't want that. And then I used a tag that was way bigger. If you look at this tag, it's humongous. So I used a tag way bigger than the size of my stencil. And this stuff cuts off on the edge because of the banding, which it frames it, which is great. So what I did to control that is I faded over here. So I used soft color here, and I used my stronger stencil color here, and then I faded off over here on the edges as well. So I used that kind of strength of paint color and coverage to be my control. Okay, so when you're using busy stencils, soft pressure on your edges, strong pressure in the middle will keep your eye like right in the middle or right where you want it to be focused on. If you wanted farmer to be bold, you could totally do that right there. Okay, so that is a way that you can do that. And then something
Well,
else.
and if
Go
you're
ahead.
planning on doing a ribbon and a bunch of something at the top with this
Yeah.
surface, get a bigger surface.
Yeah.
And then you can move your stencil down and give yourself all this room
Yeah.
at the top for both, so
Yeah.
then you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I did. I had planned on taking my Lanta. That's my favorite one, and that's from Jessica. Oh my Lanta.
Oh, My Lanta.
Yeah, I say that a
When
lot.
we're in Atlanta.
When we're in Atlanta, we say it a lot.
that a lot.
Yes. The tea towel stripes, in the scheme of knowing what is popular in the world, when I purchased, so I went to Hobby Lobby and I did a sale visit for ribbon. And I think it's been a year probably since I did it. And I bought $600 of sale ribbons. I bought every color that they had, every print, every pattern, because you never know, and we're an hour from Hobby Lobby, you never know what you're gonna need on a Monday morning at 8 a.m. You just don't ever know.
Agreed.
So you just do the investment, you have the ribbon, you do the thing. Well, a year ago, cow wasn't a thing. You know, this year it is magically, amazingly cow everything.
Yeah.
Like it's ridiculous. And I think maybe Yellowstone has something to do with that. The show,
very
yeah.
possible.
And then tea towel stripes. Okay, these are the things that are ridiculously popular. So I had planned on putting tea towel stripe down here, but I really don't know that it needs it. And then that's the one that I used here to anchor this guy instead of doing all of the busy work. And then I just sanded this to make it kind of disappear. I'm trying to think, is there, I think we covered things. Did I finish? What? What?
Fade in the edge, chunky background. Oh, we did want to get your guys' opinions if you would like to see some more of these backgrounds.
Yes. So this one is a background that was like a paint smear, colors over colors over colors, using a dragging technique, using a little scraper. Okay. So that's how we got this background. And then this one, I'm not going to spill the beans. If you want to know how to do it, you're going to have to say, "Yeah, I want to know how to do it." Because
Yeah.
this was cool to do. This was really amazing. And then the black one is just how to get that rich color. So those are the three that we have here. So if you want to see more, like in another live or something like that, just let us know with like thumbs up in the comments.
And we
or
also,
which one?
Yeah, or all three.
Yeah.
We also had a recommendation to do a tutorial on doing custom stenciled ribbons. So if you would like
That's
to
cool idea.
Do the, like how to make a ribbon?
how to stencil on a ribbon and tips
Oh,
for it. So,
yeah.
so if
I
you guys
mean-
want,
Yeah.
if that's something that might interest you, let us know. And
Yeah, I went looking, honestly, I almost would go, if you think about needing a ribbon with a little chevron in it, then your little pattern stencils, which we have hundreds of, you can make wood grain ribbon, you can make spider web ribbon, you can do, you know, bat ribbon, butterfly ribbon, like it's so cool. Like you
Yeah.
could do whatever you wanted, just have some plain ribbon around. And let me see if I can get these back together.
we have a lot of yes pleases. Yes please background. Yes more
Good.
background.
I love backgrounds. I think that's like my magic happy place.
That is definitely,
Yeah.
that's Patty's.
Would you like me to paint something black and white? No.
I'm going to paint something black and white. No, you're not.
I did, I did Santa's tray. And the only reason that didn't get anything special is because we wanted it to be chalkboard so that you could actually write on it with your kids' names, and every year they could invite Santa to their house and do the thing. And you can use these inserts for the Anyway tray as a standalone, just lay it down, pack it in with your Christmas supplies, and you have this every year.
Yeah.
I love that you can paint on the back side.
And they're so thin. I mean,
Look
really,
at- yeah,
you could
they
put
have
them.
placemats.
Yeah, or you could put them in your with your pans.
Yes.
Like just stack them if you're a stacker.
Cookie sheet.
Cookie sheet.
Yeah.
Yep. We've got
think
a lot.
we did it.
We've got a lot of people wanting more backgrounds. So now
Love it.
we're gonna go to lunch and then we're gonna put Patty to work.
You guys, thank you so much for everything. We love that you visited us. See us Tuesday at noon, and see you next week.